Okay, all right. Welcome back. Again, hope this is working. It's still sort of a trial process as I sort of define my systems and ways of doing this efficiently. But my name is Mason Dupree. Welcome back. If you've been kind of watching some of the other videos, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I've seen that some of the views have kind of ticked up a bit. And we're rolling in followers or subscribers, I should say. We're up about 3. So huge success. I mean, absolute blowout success. But yeah, if you guys haven't watched this before, my name is Mason Dupree. I run my own advertising agency as well as work for an advertising agency full time. And so the purpose of this channel isn't really sell anything or anything like that. I'm not trying to pitch anything. I do that all day long at work. My whole goal is to just sort of document my journey, both in my own business and entrepreneurship in that sense, as well as my own marketing skills and sort of methods and things I learned, while doing my full-time job as a marketing agency kind of person, official title, digital growth manager, right? So, and that defines a lot of things. But sort of the topic I wanted to discuss today is curiosity. I know that's sort of a big, high-level idea. It sounds very abstract, and I don't mean it for it to be so. I just think that's the best way to define what I'm trying to speak about. And I've read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and if you have never read that book, I think it's very important that you do so. It had a very big impact on my life, particularly in the time when I picked it up. But there's a quote from it that honestly wasn't that so obvious to me when I first read it, but was obvious to me later after I read another book that I'll tell you about at the end of this video. But it's a quote by Marcus Aurelius that says, "The obstacle is the way." And when we're talking about curiosity, kind of what I mean by the obstacle is the way is that when one door closes, another one opens. When you find something difficult, there are other solutions, right? And so in order to find those open doors, you have to remain curious, and you have to always question your own understandings and your own assumptions about how things are. And I think so many of us find ourselves in that position, especially when our boss asks us a question that sort of lightens up well, why didn't I ask that question? And then you feel stupid, right? That's sort of what I'm talking about. It's sort of being proactive about that and having that skill to ask the next question or take the next step forward in order to be proactive in both your own personal development, your own skill level, as well as your own, your business and your success, right? And so we have to figure out how to commit to practicing a sense of curiosity. And I think the way you do that is through humility. You have to be able to question your own beliefs, your own, presumptions, or, expectations about how things should go. Because I remember I've seen so many times, where I think this don't work, and then I'm told to go after it regardless because someone older than me, knows more than me, tells me to do it. I have a frustration with doing it, but I do it anyway because I'm practicing humility. I'm not being difficult. I'm just trying to do, whatever is experience, I guess, at this stage, right? And I've gone down that route and found a lot of success, a success that I would have never have actually, guessed this could have had. And that applies to so many different variables. And in one particular case, with my business is that, when I started my first agency. And when I first started it, I had no idea that I could offer a CRM to my customers. And if you don't know what a CRM is, it's a customer relations management tool. Don't put the T on there. That basically allows you, it's like a fancy contacts app that allows you to sort of manage all of the leads that you have for any given marketing, campaign. And I didn't think that I'd be able to offer that because I was like, I could barely have time to do what I'm doing now. How would I have time to develop a CRM, right? But then I started realizing, my competitors are doing it. And I've talked about that time and time again, through market research, through product market fit, all that stuff. You find out, that your competitors are offering things that you aren't. And it's like, well, how are they doing that, right? You remain curious and then you go and you find the answer, the solution. And then you're offering more value than you thought you ever could have, right? And you're answering questions. It's that, a lot of people stop, trying to solve problems or answer questions. And your value is directly correlated with the quantity of problems and questions you're able to answer. And so, in this day and time, with all the information that's available, with AI, ChatGPT, Grok, all these different services that provide AI that can give you basically 80% proficiency on any topic, there should be no reason for you to not have the answer, or at least a decent answer to whatever the problem is. And so many times, I'm stuck. I just don't know what to do. I'll pull up ChatGPT, I'll turn on the voice model, and I'll just rant to it. I'll just say, hey, look, this is my problem. And now I've gotten a little bit more intuitive about it. I'm like, okay, well, these are some of the tools I have that I think might be able to solve the problem. And I give it to him. And then he's able to sort of provide me a route in which I can use the tools I have to solve that solution. And you won't understand how, powerful that is. Like I said, I was using Google Sheets to do something and I was going to have an equation put in there to fix something, to do something that would update daily. And then it was like, well, you can use Google Apps Scripts and you can write code. And I was like, well, can you write the code? And I was like, yeah, I can write the code. So, that was a whole shattering, my perception of what I could do with a Google Sheet was completely shattered on that day. Learning about APIs, all that stuff. These are things that have been around for several years now, but If you don't remain curious, you'll never learn them, and you'll never grow yourself and your ability, your personal skills, and the value you can provide to any team or your own business. And so I think it's really important that you practice humility, learn that you obviously aren't always right, and that you can find solutions to problems by just remaining curious. And that will in itself pay dividends and become, or make you become better. But yeah, that was a little preachy. I didn't mean to be so, preachy about it. But I do have a book recommendation. I'm not always going to do book recommendations, but I think it's kind of fun to kind of put at the end, especially because, it takes hours to go through a book. And it's valuable, and I think if I find value in a book, then I'd like to share it. This one is not so much business related, although it can be. This is The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. Ryan Holiday is a great person. I'm not affiliated by any way, and again, I'm not trying to sell you guys anything. I'm just recommending good books. This is a very short read, and I got through it very fast. I mean, probably in a day, honestly. It's about 200 pages, and they're very short pages. There's not much on here. But yeah, I recommend getting this book. If you ever get a book, don't make it pretty. Don't worry about like ruining the book. Go in there and write notes and highlight things. I'm sure I've got some stuff in here somewhere. Yeah, there's some stuff. But like don't baby books. They're books, and at the end of the day, you're just trying to get the information, valuable information. So don't tie yourself up to reading one book. If you need to change. Those are some quick little tips on reading. But yeah, practice humility and always stay curious, and that'll lead to the solutions that you have to the problems that you have. So stay persistent, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much.